And after a painfully long wait, the TuxMats have arrived. So here they are in all their glory. And you can already tell we're going to have coverage under the seat, along all the carpeted areas, and even along the door sill. If I had to describe the material, here's the bottom. I know hard to get a view of the bottom of these things. It's like rubbery. It's like the grip stuff that shooting gloves come with. And then on the top side, it's a little more plasticky feeling, but it's not like a hard, it's not at all like WeatherTech or Husky or anything else. It's definitely its own thing. It feels really cool. It's always a catch-22 on filming here. I either don't have enough light inside, or I go outside and it's too windy and too loud. But anyway, the Husky floor mats, the selling thing to me was the holes for the locks don't go all the way through, so you don't have to worry about getting rain and snow and mud leaking through those holes. But they really don't secure very well on top of these. But the biggest thing is it leaves all this carpet exposed. Your foot's normally going to be on the pedal resting right here, so I already had a ton of dirt just from my return trip home embedded in the carpet right there, and it doesn't protect this kick panel over here. And what I just found out now was this got caught and it jammed the throttle pedal down, so I started the truck and it revved up to red line. So that's always nice when your truck just goes up to red line when you start it. And then over here, same problems. You have a ton of unprotected carpet where people's feet are obviously going to be. Kick panels not protected, and just the fitment between there and here, this is kind of wanting to lift up. So there's a company called Tuxmat. They're out of Canada. They're kind of fighting through some tariff things right now because their mats are made in China, and then, you know, they get packaged in Canada or whatever. So they're not shipping to the US right now, unfortunately. So I'm waiting for them to resume shipping. And their mats not only protect 100% of your carpet, they actually have a piece that comes down along here and protects all this stuff too. So I'll do a follow-up video once those come in. I just wanted to make a point to show you guys how the Huskies look. I've always used WeatherTechs, and when they get old, they start to kind of curl up, which is what mine are doing. And oddly enough, these are from my 06 Duramax. These actually fit pretty dang good, so that's what I'm going to run in there for right now. But both Husky and WeatherTech have gone to this more rubbery, less plastic material. I think they're both fighting their older floor mats, kind of drying and starting to shrink and curl at your edges and your corners. One other quick detail about floor mats I almost forgot. With any of the rubber style between Mopar, WeatherTech, and Husky, they are so rigid right here. They're so thick that the front corner does not want to bend and pull back. And if you have this hook hooked on, obviously you would have to yank that up. So we'll see how the rear TuxMats do. But so far, those other three, I don't like them, because if you want to hop in here and get a drink while you're driving down the road, you pretty much have to get out of the vehicle. You have to stop the truck. You have to get out of the vehicle. You have to pull the floor mat all the way up just to get in here. Whereas with the carpet mats that come with the truck, you can just pull this back, get in there while you're driving, even while you're sitting right here in the back seat. It's no problem. And so the way to get the carpet mats is you just don't order the factory rubber mats. It comes with carpet by default, at least in the Bighorn. If you don't get the rubbers, it comes with the carpets. If you do order the rubbers, you don't get the carpets. So just keep that in mind. All right, guys, I got the TuxMats in now. So you saw the Husky liners. I showed you my Duramax's, WeatherTechs. Honestly, the WeatherTechs look just like the Husky liners if you get the WeatherTechs that are actually made for this truck. So I think not really worth buying those just to show them to you on camera. I'm sure you can find another video if you really want to see the WeatherTechs. All right, so I just got done installing the floor mats. And before we move on to showing those, I just want to show you, out of all of them that I've tried, the carpet Mopar mat is still my favorite for the back seat if you want to get into the floor coolers, because this is just like a nice soft rubber. It very easily just rolls and folds over itself so you can get right in. If you're going to be accessing your coolers a lot, this is my favorite, but it's carpet, and that's just going to pack in with dirt immediately. So this is the back seat for the TuxMat, one piece all the way across. Beautiful fitment. I've got it peeled up right now just because I wanted to show you, if you are going to try to get into access your cooler while you're driving, it is possible. It's kind of hard with one hand, but you can get in there, snag a cold one, and smash her back down. And fitment wise, it's amazing. Before I snap it in and show you the final fitment, I just want to point out the only thing that I've requested an update for is that they transfer the hole through for our strap for the load flat floors, because if we have this snap down, which holds this down, when I'm riding with Dolly Parton in the back, I have that side folded out. I leave this one just like this, and if that's undone, that can come up. So if we have that like so, it kind of bulges everything out, and then it doesn't really want to quite fit right. This doesn't fold down. So you could kind of finagle it to stay in place if you want. However, let's actually clip that in place. Clip that down. So it kind of pushes everything out because you got a strap behind there now. So if we unbuckle this and then we push this down, the fit is just beautiful. It tucks up. Maybe that's why they're called TuxMats, because they tuck up perfectly. Man, it's awesome. We just need that button to come through, and then that would also secure the mat. You'd have this button and that button. So that's the only thing that I would like to see updated. And I've sent out a question to see if they can tell us how we can poke our own hole through without, jeopardizing or ruining the mat. Same kind of awesome fitment on this side. This little ear seems like it nicely tucks in this gap between the plastic trim and the carpet. It stays down in there nice and tight. This holds down nice and tight. I didn't have to put any extra clips in the back. Passenger side, freaking amazing, freaking awesome. So it covers all this carpeted area. I really hate that transmission tunnel. And apparently that's for the emissions and the exhaust. Mostly the emissions. So it makes it really awkward for someone riding here, but that's not any part of the floor mat's fault. I'm just saying that is why that big awkward thing is there. But these come up beautifully, cover all the carpet. I did put a clip here. So this kit comes with a green bag of 2 different style of clips, and there's the clip. They just slide over, and then you can slide it under the trim, and that just keeps it from lifting off. Great idea, wonderful. one other thing, I guess, if I was really being picky, that's why I was interested in the Husky liners. They don't have a through hole. This is all taken care of on the bottom side, and the top material goes all the way over. That way you don't have to worry about spilling through there. This is what makes the Tuxmat the Tuxmat. It's just all of the coverage. So it actually, they make the effort to curl back and start going under the seat, because that's, with any other floor mat I've ever had, that spot's always terribly dirty. And then they cover up. They don't stop at the door trim. They cover it up, because that is going to get scuffed up. You can already see footprints on there, actually. That's going to get scuffed up and dirty. So they protect that, and they bring it all the way back. So I just put simply one more of these little clips down here. I do kind of wish, you can see this has this little rib right there. I do wish they had a little bit bigger rib and have a couple of them on here, so it would actually lock in there, because it's just smooth. But it'll work. It lines up beautifully. Doesn't like stick out into the door. No problem shutting the doors. I'm just really, really happy that I waited all these months for these things to show up. Again, no issues with shutting the door on the rear either. And I should also point out, these actually come down and leave space for your floor vents to still shoot over. They don't like come up and block off your airflow, so that's important. And then lastly, moving on to the driver's floor mat. So this was the biggest sales point for me. This is obviously where all the time gets spent. All this carpet is covered up all the way past the top of the driver pedal. And there's enough length, there's enough excess. You can tuck this behind the center console trim. So that keeps it very tight and it keeps it secured over. And since this goes above the pedal, you don't have to worry about the pedal getting caught on the mat like I had the problem with the Husky liner catching the floor pedal. I did put one clip up here on the top left, and this tail on this side, it's a little bit awkward, because unlike the passenger side where it nicely butted up right to the trim, this actually wants to ride up on the trim. And so when I was installing it with the clip in the same spot, it would push this out, and that's past where the door has to come in. The door has to push against this to seal. So I took one of their Velcro style clips that aims the opposite way, and then I just slide that under the back, and that allows the mat to come up. I think I might 3D print my own custom clip for this to hold this down. And that is exactly what I ended up doing. I 3D printed my own. First I used 2 of their clips, and I just used super glue and I glued them together, and that works okay. So if you don't have a 3D printer, that's all you got to do is just glue 2 of their clips together. But I kind of measured the dimensions on everything. See, this is a little wider for the mat, and this gap's a little narrower for the plastic. And then you just kind of, this carpet kind of pushes down, and it goes up there, and the mat goes up into it, and Bob's your uncle. And here I am. I really recorded this video before and after this short clip about 2 or 3 months before shooting this. So you can see what they look like, and every day they still lay down nice and flat. I'm loving them. So now back to the regular part of the video. I should point out, these are the clips that you get. You get 2 bags and you get a ton of clips. So here is a style without Velcro, and so it has to point away from the mat. And then you get this bag, and it has 2 things in it. It's got Velcro, like the carpet Velcro with double-sided tape. And then it's got this clip. It's actually got the Velcro hooks built into it. It's like part of the plastic injection molding. And it goes the opposite way. Their kind of idea is you'd take this double-sided tape, put it on there on your trim, and then it would just stick down. That's the last thing that I want to do. I'm trying to protect my brand new trim. I don't want to put tape on it because this is actually dyed, and so you'll actually pull the dye off if you ever go to peel that tape off. So I just want to save the trim so that if I ever go to sell or trade the truck in, that trim still looks brand new. I can probably just pull these out, and then that'll save my trade-in or my resale value. So I ended up modifying this myself to put the holes through. I just want to show you how I did it. So this is a jack handle off a hydraulic press. This is 5/8 OD, which is exactly the size I wanted. So I took this over to the belt sander, put a chamfer on the outside, and then took a deburring tool to the inside, which makes this really sharp. With the mat installed, you take a silver Sharpie and put your center of your hole on the mat. I did it on the back side, and then put the mat down on a block of wood, put your tube over your center hole, take a BFH and smack it, and eventually that'll go through the wood, leaves you a very nice clean cut hole. And then I'm just going to very briefly kind of singe that so it doesn't tear. And I'm doing this in real time here, so I would recommend singeing this backside. I would not recommend singeing the front side. This reacted totally different to the flame. This seems like it's solid and it's fine. This seems more like a cloth material, so I think you're going to benefit from singeing this. I think you're just going to do more harm than good here on the front side. And so here is the installed product. So the OD of this snap is like 9/16. So that's why I wanted to do a 5/8 hole. And it's very tight. That foam does compress so that it snaps in. You have to have it lined up and you have to push hard, but it does snap in. I'm going to run it like this for a while and see what I think about it. I didn't want to go oversized on the hole to the point that you see it sticking past the strap when the strap's snapped on. This makes for a nice clean look. I guess if TuxMat was going to modify this on their end, they could make the hole bigger and actually put like a trim ring around there to make it look nice, and or sew an edge around it. So definitely recommend transferring those holes. And I just want to point out, I'm talking about how awesome the customer service has been with Canvasback. I can't say the same with TuxMats, although the responsiveness is okay. Actually helping me to address any of the issues that I've had. They really didn't have any answers. They refused to tell me or help me on cutting these holes. They didn't want to modify the mats. They won't even tell me how to cut holes in them. So, there's a lot to be said about customer service, willingness to help. Canvasback Liners, freaking awesome customer service. And, TuxMats has a great product, but their service could definitely be a little better. Now, I just want to say, it is 174 degrees Fahrenheit outside. I'm absolutely dying right now filming this. But I did want to mention, I am not being paid by TuxMats to do this video. No compensation whatsoever. I paid full price for these things, and I told them, hey, I'm going to be dropping a review on YouTube of these. And when I told them that, they said, awesome. If you happen to sell any, you could sign up for our affiliate program, which is like the Amazon affiliate program, where if you guys click the link in my description or use my code, and buy some, then they kick a little bit back to me. So I'm not saying, hey, you know, go buy these because I get a kickback. I'm always going to give you guys my honest reviews, honest opinions, and I think I did so here. There's a couple of things that could be improved, but versus the competition, Mopar, WeatherTech, Husky, hands down, these are the best option. They all cost about the same, so it's not like you're spending a lot more or a lot less on anything. I'll be sure to do a follow-up video down the road after I have some actual miles on these and I have, you know, a firmer opinion about them. But right now, man, I wanted to order these before I even got the truck so I could have them shipped and basically put them in the truck and drive them home with them. And then the tariff screwed all that up and there was a delay and I just about gave up. But I said, you know what? I know these things are going to be worth waiting for. So freaking happy that I waited for these mats. Those just look so good. So freaking good, man. Good job, TuxMats. All right, now I'm saving the best for last. If you thought the TuxMats were cool, now it gets even better because you think, okay, I have seat covers, but the reality is the bottom side is not going to be covered. You think, oh, I got floor mats, but then you start looking around the truck and it just makes you wonder, why are they using carpet in so many of these weird areas that you can't get to? And that carpet's just going to absorb dirt. It's going to absorb weird trash. Like here in Nebraska, we have cottonwood trees that shed their cottonseed, and those just get embedded into everything. And so you look under the seats, on the backs of the seats, behind the seats, there's carpet everywhere. And that just, it's a dirt magnet. So I'm searching on Google, and I find this company that makes exactly what I'm looking for. Because this fold flat shelf system, guess what? Carpet. And since my dog, Dolly Parton, is going to be riding back here all the time, of course, it's going to get covered in hair. And so I'm looking for something just to cover up this platform. I found the perfect solution. It's amazing. It's a canvas material. It attaches with Velcro. It covers all the way back underneath. It covers the bottom sides of the rear seats, covers the floor, leaves access to your coolers, covers where the backs of your feet hit. It even covers the bottom sides of the seats where it's carpeted. Now, I'm finding it incredibly difficult not only to film this truck, but to even work in it because it's all black on the inside. So I'm going to record this at a later date. It's well over 100 degrees here today. I think it's like 112 with heat index right now. 40 mile an hour wind, and this isn't quite complete yet. So we're going to wait. We're going to get some better weather. I'm going to shoot this outside so I can really show it off to you. But what I wanted to show you before I send these back out is this part here did not come with the cutout for this button to latch that, just like the TuxMats didn't. It also doesn't have the cutout for the floor mat clip. And amazingly enough, I contacted Canvasback Liners. They're working with me. I'm truly honored because they're relying on me to get measurements for them. They're going to modify these things and they're going to send them back. I just wanted to show them to you before I send them out. That's all solid right now. And the truck's got to go away for a little bit anyway. I'll get more on that later, but short story, everything's going to disappear for a while, and with some video magic, we're going to have everything new. But before I go, just wanted to point out, even with the seat covers, okay, these are cheap, relatively cheap. I think I paid, what, $120. You're going to have to spend about $700 to $800 more. That's not an exaggeration, on a higher quality seat cover to get them to cover this bottom side. So for a fraction of that upgrade cost, you can get just these covers, and that way you can get a cheaper seat cover. All right, and now we have the final piece of the puzzle, and I've got it somewhat installed here. I'm going to show you. Here's the TuxMat floor mat. Pop this guy up, And we come around to the other side and pop this guy up. And this is where I'm saying I like the Mopar idea of having the back seat split into two sides, so you don't have to have one huge mat, especially in case you spill, because how are you going to pull this out without draining all that juice down onto the ground? Here are the modified Canvasback mats for the floor. So it's two pieces, and amazing customer service. I sent them, I marked the mats. I also sent them measurements and pictures of where the floor mat clip was, as well as this button for your fold flat floor latches. They modified them, sent them back, had them back in less than a week. So that's pretty awesome. So I kind of mocked things up. I put this bottom piece in, and you can run the TuxMat on top of this, no problem. Once you add this though, this kind of double-sided, it's Velcro, and then this side is double-sided tape that you're supposed to like scrub the carpet and glue this strip to. And once I put this piece on, I think there's some, I don't know if it's because it double stacks or what, but it's too thick with this piece on for the TuxMat floor mat to fit in. So this piece has to go for sure. And then at this point, it's like, well, what do I really benefit from having this in here without this piece? And I'm thinking long-term effects. If I scrub this and I put this adhesive down, it's probably going to leave a lot of nasty glue residue in the carpet. And the whole point with all this protection is just to make it so that when I go to sell the truck, if my floor mats and whatever are worn out, if these are worn out, I can rip all this stuff and toss it or sell it on Craigslist for cheap, and then the truck carpet will look brand new. So it's just my opinion, the protection you get from the bottom seat covers and the fold flat covers and the bottoms of your seats are easily worth the purchase to me. Since the TuxMat actually covers all your trim all the way out to the doors, as well as up the backside here and everything else, I think I'm just going to use only the TuxMat floor mat, and I'm going to have to figure out a way to transfer these holes through the mat so I can lock these down from wanting to fly up. Now, if you only ever had your dog in the back seat, you never had passengers, then yeah, I totally think these would be a great solution, because then it makes it really easy to get into your coolers, and your dog hair is going to stay out of the carpet, and this is easier to clean. Don't really need the floor mats. Hopefully that helps you though, especially if you've never seen these. I'd love to help get the word out there about the Canvasback solution. I think it's incredible.